Three, two, one. What is going on, everybody? My name is Josh, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm here with my friend Cameron. Tell him what's up.
What's up going on, esports fans? It's your boy Chris Sniper.
And look whose overlay it is. None other than his.
That's right. Mine's sexy.
Of
It's a
course.
sexy overlay.
I don't have one, so I mean, props to you. So today, we're going to be talking about Anaheim and the amateur bracket at Anaheim and what's going on with that. So, without further ado, let's kick it right into this with some Anaheim information, and look at me using all these transitions. So, here we have all the tournament details for the Call of Duty Ghost LAN at Anaheim for MLG's 66th tournament, I believe. So, we have, for the pro bracket, $80,000 in prizes. Or not for the pro bracket, but in total, $80,000, 70 grand for the pro bracket, and 10 grand for the amateur bracket. Now, that is a big gap. That is a very large gap.
Very large gap. And I mean that's the whole thing. The whole reason for this is, it makes you, if you're not in the season, you want to be in the season. That's your goal. That's the whole point of, the amateur bracket, honestly, at this point.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
we're assuming if, I don't know how they're splitting up the prize pool for pro bracket, but first place, I'm assuming, would take home 40 grand, 20 to second, and 10 to third, or however they want to divide the money up. $10,000, you're maybe getting 4 grand for first, or like 6 or something along those lines. Huge, huge, huge difference. And
Yeah.
that's why if you see a lot of teams complaining on Twitter about the league standings, that is what their reasoning is.
Yeah. And the way it's going to work, guys, is there's going to be 11 teams in the pro bracket. That's the 8 top teams from Season 2 MLG League, and then the top two from Gfinity, which is currently Epsilon and TCM, and then the winners of ACL Brisbane, which was Immunity COD.
Mm-hmm.
So 11 teams, and what it is there's actually going to be a couple of buys, and we'll show you the bracket there for that in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way the AM bracket's going to work, it's a 192 team open bracket, best of 3, double elimination, and the top 4 qualify for season 3. And we've already seen some high profile names going in the bottom of season 2. We know for a fact that Strictly Business and what was the other one? Oh goodness, brain fart.
It is SB and Curse
SB.
Orange.
Curse Orange.
And Justice.
Okay.
Even.
Justice, that was the one I was thinking of. Apologies. We know that they are going to be playing in the open bracket against some top tier teams, including the team that, Josh is the media manager for, Carnage. And we also know, the other big name going to be there, Optic Nation, Wild Gaming, and a few other big names too.
Erupt, all these guys.
Yeah.
Especially since I have the league standings up right now. We're looking at TK and Vex possibly on the fence in between pro bracket and amateur bracket. Those are 2 pro teams who are competing at a high caliber level who can't really afford to drop down into the amateur bracket.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the issue with online Call of Duty. Everybody's, if you have a bad connection, and everybody's going to blame it on their connection or on the other person's host. But honestly, I've seen whenever Apathy hosts for TK, that he drops 40 bombs every time. Mm-hmm. So, but that's just a realization of online Call of Duty, is that you're going to have those issues. So it is kind of disappointing, but at the same time, you knew this was what was going to happen. So,
like you mentioned TK, if they play on LAN, they're amazing on LAN. They're one of the best LAN teams this Call of Duty, and even in Black Ops, well, towards the end of Black Ops 2. You're seeing a lot of these teams in the league, like Denial, Vex. Even they're a fairly new team, and they're doing decent. I mean, they're on the edge, like I said, but they're doing decent, and they're able to compete with these high caliber teams online.
And up until LAN, TK had not finished outside of the top 4 since, or up until Champs. Mm-hmm. They had not finished outside of the top 4 since the team was started. Mm-hmm. And then they finished top 16.
Yeah.
With and that was with a pickup from Mad Cat.
At Niagara.
Yeah.
At Niagara, they placed top 8.
Yeah. Okay. I was confused.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little miscommunication there, guys.
Good. Okay.
But and that was with a pickup. So what it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with the actual full team there. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really hoping that they actually squeak by Vex there and get into the pro bracket.
That's great for MLG as well because, of course, TK brings a decent following to streams, and that's really all MLG cares about anymore is how many viewers they're going to have in their streams.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
sadly, yeah, of course. So,
And then the last thing, really, guys, that you got to know about this is the championship bracket will be played on the Xbox One, and all of Open bracket will be played on the Xbox 360.
after Anaheim, however, all tournaments will be played on the Xbox One. So if you don't have one, you kind of shit out of luck.
And that's including the 1s, 2s, and 5Ks. Yeah.
Which have to be streamed on MLG.TV.
Yeah, and that's a completely different video.
Exactly. All right, so moving into the bracket. Here we have I have the bracket up right now. We're looking at TCM playing the 6th seed. We're looking at Epsilon playing the 8th seed, and we're looking at the 5th and 7th seed in the league go up against each other all in the first round, and then we have a couple of buys. Evil Geniuses will be playing the winner of TCM and the 6th seed, which will most likely be TCM. I'm just going to go out on a string there, and then
well, it depends on which team is
which
that
team is
seed.
that 6th seed. Yeah.
Which team is currently in 6th place?
I can look for you.
I don't have it pulled up. That's okay. Just keep going.
We have FaZe Red at 6th currently,
Ooh,
but
I don't know about that.
they have the same win percentage as Denial, who's in 7th. So I mean, you never know.
That'll be a juggle.
So then we are looking at Team Envious going up against the winner of Epsilon and the 8th seed in the league, which will most likely be TK or Vex. I don't know. That's a pretty even matchup there.
Yeah. Well, Epsilon. If any team's going to do it from Europe, I love TCM, but Epsilon is the powerhouse right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
good. Very good.
they had a strong. I mean, we saw what they did to Optic at Champs. You know, they're good. So I think if either of the two EU teams is going to go off, it's going to be Epsilon.
And then we have Optic Gaming going up against the winner of the 5th and 7th seed from the league. So that'll be an interesting setup there as well. So basically, the controversy lately has been why the amateur bracket is not leading up into the pro bracket like it always has. We saw it happen with Niagara. We saw XGen nearly knock out Complexity. And
Well, they did knock out Complexity.
Well,
they knocked them into the losers bracket.
Yeah. But they didn't knock them out of the tournament, of course. But
Yes,
it was close, you know.
Yeah, it was. There was some scary moments there.
Yeah, of course. Any time you see EG lose, that's a very scary moment. Anyway, you're seeing a lot of amateur teams being able to compete with a lot of these pro teams now, especially on LAN, and a lot of people are worried that not having the amateur teams lead up into the pro bracket, I don't know if it ruins the exposure for the amateur teams, but in Anaheim's situation, their argument is that if you place top 4 in the amateur bracket, you're not only getting a piece of the prize money, which is only $10,000, but you know it is what it is, but you're also getting that coveted spot into seed 3.
Yeah, well, and I know part of what they're assuming is it's a smaller prize bracket. But for the teams that didn't qualify through season 2 and teams like Optic Nation, it's not a big of a thing. But if it's a lower end or less well known amateur team, you know, they're going to get more sponsors because hey, look, we're in season 2 now, so they're going to get more funding and more sponsors and things like that. That's the way MLG sees it.
And the channel.
And then that was another thing, you know, with this having to stream on MLG.TV. You know, all these amateur teams that stream these 2Ks, that's how they get a lot of their exposure. Is if they actually make it to the later rounds of the 2Ks and they're still playing and they play those top tier teams.
Streaming on Twitch.
And they're streaming on Twitch, and now they're not going to be able to. So that's going to be an issue. And then the other thing is, my biggest thing about this is that wow factor. You know, kind of like what you said. It's when XGN beat Complexity. Who was it? The dude from the XGN who got
Stun.
3-piece. Stun, thank you. Kid gained like 10,000 followers in about
He's
an
sitting at
hour.
like 14K right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely insane because it was a wow factor. They brought, you know, it was a team nobody's ever heard of, and they beat the best team in the game in a very close series. And, you know, I think there are a lot of factors that contributed to that. The unknown factor, you know, it's a team that EG's never played before. They play different than, you know, maybe some pro teams do. but it makes things more interesting. And we've seen in the past, the last couple of tournaments, the Black Ops 2, we saw Optic get knocked out, one time by adversity, and they forced them out. What was it? Make them finish top 16. And so that's my biggest thing. It's a wow factor, and it makes it more entertaining for me as a spectator, not only as an esports analyst and a YouTuber. It makes it more interesting because I'm like, oh, these guys are going to lose. They're going to lose to some team that nobody knows about, and it makes it more interesting to me.
Of course, and I think that's with any team, especially powerhouses, like you said. Like EG is always going to be the powerhouse for this game. There's nobody really who has the amount of skill or the not necessarily skill, because Call of Duty Ghosts doesn't have the biggest skill gap in the world.
Yeah.
But the amount of teamwork and chemistry that EG has, and that's what they get for staying together for so long.
I mean,
no
because
team can compare.
Yeah, Aches and Teep have been together for 3 years. Crim's been with them for almost 2, and then Karma's been with them for 6 months. There's the closest. I believe I asked. I think it was Cody Sportspedia a few months ago. I said, who besides those two, who have been teaming together the longest? And the
Mud
longest
and Crow, right?
was Mud and Crow, and it was only 6 months. I mean, that's insane. I mean, you could technically put Nade and Scump in there because even though
they broke up, they've been together for quite
they got back
time.
together. They never played an event without each other since the start of Black Ops 2. So you could technically include them. So that would be what, a year and a half,
at least a year, yeah.
So, I mean, and then you throw, and then Crim. Honestly, in my opinion, he's the best player in Ghost right now.
I agree.
And then Aches is top 5, Karma's top 5, and then TP's the top OBJ. I mean, the only way that I see EG losing is if they beat themselves. And with Aches, with Aches being Aches, and with Crimbot being, I don't see the team falling apart. Because I mean, we saw it at regionals. Even though they ended up losing to the then SB team, which is pretty much the now face Black. And then we saw it with Cell Guns. When they dropped down to the losers bracket, they had a couple of scares, but they fought through the losers bracket. And they, that second day when they were in the losers bracket, they did not drop a single map. I don't think. So we know that even when they get a scare, then they know it's crunch time, they can step up and do it.
And they've been doing that for multiple events.
Yeah.
People think they're out, and hey, it's the other EG,
It's like, woo, EG's in the losers bracket. Crap.
Yeah.
They just swept the losers bracket. And the other thing is, I really hope that they don't play, that either Envy gets better or that they don't play Envy, because it's kind of lackluster.
Oh my God. And Envy going up against EG is one of the biggest
9-0.
embarrassments.
9-0.
Niagara
with champs.
Niagara.
Champs was a 3-0. At Niagara, it was a 6-0. So in
two
grand
best
finals,
of fives, 2 best of 5s in a row. Come on.
So
what I don't understand, and I'm going off topic, but I'm only going to do it for a second.
So
I'm only going to do it for a second, I promise. Optic Gaming, not Nation, they played Envious at Champs right after they played EG, who they were one map away from beating, and then they lose to Envious. Envious played they beat Optic more than Optic lost to Complexity. So it was
Envy went in with Optic went in with a chip on their shoulder, and Envy had already been. They were hot. They were already going through that losers bracket run. Envy was a hot team. And I mean, it
died off in the championship.
Especially, there's a lot of past there, especially with Merc and Rambo at the time. Obviously not as much now. This is since Rambo's technically in the coaching position and Parasite took his spot. But I think we're going to see Optic change. Niagara was their first event playing together. Even Clay said he was confused. He didn't know what he was supposed to be doing at Niagara because of Proofy, and he was used to Bose and the way Bose played. He kind of knew what he was supposed to do, and he wasn't as sure with Proofy. And so I think we're going to expect. I expect to see big things for them because honestly, I think that roster has the best chance of beating EG.
I agree 100%. And they had it at Champs. They had it at Champs, and they blew it. I mean, I don't know how you go from almost beating Complexity to losing against Envious, and then Envious gets 3-0 in the championship. Anyway, Anyway, moving on.
We got really off topic there, guys. Sorry.
Before we end this video, we want to talk about a week ago, we were going to record this video, and we didn't get to it until now. And a week ago when we did record it, one of the reasons we were going to make this video was because Curse Saint, well, he's actually on Rise Nation, but he's playing for Curse Orange at the X Games. He tweeted a few tweets about Anaheim that bugged him, a few little things about Anaheim that bugged him. So he said, champ teams get main stage every maps, best of fives, Xbox One, and a 70K prize pool. Open gets side stations, best of threes, 360, and the same prize pool as NJ Halo, which is a local land in New Jersey. I was going to go, but I didn't go. Anyway. He said he's essentially flying across the country to replay the free-to-play tournament that he won online for $2.
And got dropped for.
Yeah,
and got dropped for, and that was the I felt bad for him. I mean, that was the sneakiest, crappiest thing I've seen. Really, I mean, I've seen some sneaky, crappy things.
Vex was a good team. With
that was a good team, and the thing is, he got that spot. He earned that spot. He should have been on that team, on that roster right now. And they dropped him. And then their reasoning was, we're going to drop him because he can't. What was it? There was something he had committed to, I think. And he wasn't going to be able to make it. Maybe it was to Niagara or something, which he ended up going to anyway.
And replacing Saints.
Yeah. Well, anyway, different story.
Phase not
but their reasoning was, well, we'll just drop him, and they picked him up as a sub. And that was about the dirtiest thing I think I've ever seen in college. I mean, there's plenty of dirty stuff that goes on in this scene, you know, and that was by far one of the dirtiest. Not only just drop him, but you pick him back up as a substitute. But anywho, guys, I think that's about it for today. You got anything else, Josh?
No, that's pretty much it. I think we covered about every damn thing you possibly could about Anaheim, and I think we stated our arguments or our opinions pretty well. So go ahead, guys. Go follow Crush on Twitter and on YouTube. Check him out. I would really appreciate it. I'm sure he would really appreciate it as well. If you want to leave a like on this video, but be sure to go ahead and leave a like on his video first. I want to see him get 15 likes, damn it. That's what I want to see.
Woo!
And also subscribe to both of our channels if you haven't already. But that's all I got for you guys. You go ahead. Take away.
I was just going to say, guys, make sure you follow Josh on Twitter at CarnageJosh. Subscribe, like his videos, and then down in the comments below, please let us know what you think. What do you think about this debate? Do you think the pro and the AM team should be separate? Do you think they should be together? Because the only other argument I did forget to state that we had talked about last time was, I think those top four should make it into season 3, and those top four should move into the champs bracket.
Of course, I agree the same.
So, but anyway, guys, so let us know what you think, because this is something that really, Josh is a media manager for an AM team, and I'm really close to the AM scene, through Rivalcaster and PA and things like that. So it's something near and dear to our hearts. So just let us know what you think, guys, and we'll see y'all in the next video.
Peace.